From paying off some holiday expenses, to those home renovations, to even banking for the future, count on Columbia to help kickstart your 2018 financial goals with our low-rate, no-fee home refinance program. Take advantage of this amazing opportunity and pay no fees, making now the best time to refinance your home. So help fulfill all your short and long-term financial resolutions at your local branch or ColumbiaBankOnline.com. The low-rate, no-fee home refinance program. Apply today. Equal housing lender and member FDIC. New Jersey properties only.
This is No BS Job Search Advice Radio, episode 1049. I'm your host, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome. Welcome. And this is Tuesday. We're already into the week, and this show is about LinkedIn recommendations and whether they're worthwhile. After all, who the heck knows if these people are real or not? I hope you find it helpful. Hope you give the show 5 stars on iTunes or Stitcher. It helps other people discover the show. By the way, I have classes on Skillshare. Currently 7 classes, including classes on interviewing, whether that's by Skype or in person, on final interviews, answers to tough interview questions, a lot of good stuff, including 2 classes now on hiring. And you can take the classes without becoming a member. Just go to Skillshare.com and search for me by name. Capital J, Jeff. Capital A, Altman. Do upper and lowercase. For some reason, just doing it in lowercase doesn't return as many classes. And I'll also say that if you decide that you want to become a premium member of the site, Skillshare will offer you a 1-month trial. However, free trial, by the way. However is they allow me to offer 2 months. So if you're interested in premium membership on Skillshare, message me at jeffaltman@thebiggamehunter.us. Listen to the end of the show for information about coaching, and now let's get going. The question for today is, how are recommendations on LinkedIn viewed by recruiters or prospective employers? Given that there is no way to determine the authenticity or sincerity of a recommendation, what trust value is assigned to the various recommendations while sourcing profiles? Great question. So I want to start by pointing out that references are really no different. And how are references looked at? They're looked at like a final verification. So references have the same issue. I've had people trying to pass off bogus references to me, and you can just smell them a mile away. So how are recommendations viewed? Now, they're looked at at a couple of different times in the process. First of all, they're looked at when sourcing on LinkedIn. So I'll read some and I'll spot pretty quickly whether this person really knows the individual that they're writing about, and thus whether it's one of those, hey, endorse me and I'll endorse you references. I get these from India all the time, and in case you haven't noticed, I'm not in India. So, I don't comply with those requests, because what am I going to say? She's a really great person, or he's a really good guy? Those are useless references or recommendations, so why bother? What good is it going to do? And how are they going to believe me in the U.S. is going to know their work? So you can kind of look at the recommendations and break them down to identify the ones where someone really knows them, whether what's said is very thin, or whether there's some substance there. So the thin references you ignore. The substantial ones that talk about, provide a story in them about how you were the hero has a different weight in my mind. So, another way that they're looked at is for quantity versus as well as quality. So, for example, I have hundreds of recommendations from people who've been kind enough to write about my work, whether it's as a headhunter or now as a coach or videographer, podcaster, and the like. And, when you see hundreds of recommendations for someone versus 4, doesn't that have a meaning to you? So, they look at it for quantity, and when they're pleasantly surprised that there's a lot of it, they'll like that more. So how are recommendations looked at? The same way as references. Now, I said there were a couple of different times where they're looked at. Sometimes when the person's not sure, they've done an interview, they're not sure about something, they'll go back into the recommendations to see if there's something that speaks to that, to confirm the bias or the opinion that they have. Lastly, they may use them as a reference substitute, but I don't expect that to happen very often. So clearly during the sourcing process, they're looking at quality of recommendation as well as quantity. And during the process, to a lesser degree, they'll look at it to see if there's something that confirms an opinion that they have about you and your work. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, here are a few ways to engage with me. First of all, I just want to start by saying that I no longer do recruiting. I coach people to perform at a high level. So again, I no longer do recruiting. But if you visit my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us, and look at the tabs on the top, you'll see a menu of choices available to you. First of all, you can hire me to do a resume and or LinkedIn profile critique, interview preparation, help you with a salary negotiation, answer your questions about your job search, advise you about a decision you have to make about a job offer. Those are all there as an option. I can do a job search makeover with you, where we critique everything you've been doing in your search up until that point and come up with alternatives. If you're relatively early in your search, we can do a complete coaching program where I work with you from beginning to end in half-hour increments so it doesn't have to take a lot of time for each session. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. Mention that you listen to the show because I love hearing from folks who like it and are interested in my help. Again, linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. You can take my classes on Skillshare too and become a premium member for 99 cents for the first few months. I have a link in the show notes. Just follow that link, sign up, take my classes. Lastly, I want to mention to you, you can find a lot of information at thebiggamehunter.us, and at times it may seem like it's too much. So you can look at the best of my material at jobsearchcoachinghq.com, where I've curated information that you can watch, listen to, or read to help you find work more quickly. Again, that's jobsearchcoachinghq.com. I'll be back tomorrow with more, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Take care.
What a matchup!
And what a team, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS on an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Landscapers, we've got your back at the Home Depot. Razorback. Durable, pro-grade landscaping tools for the toughest projects. And just to make your job easier, buy 4 or more Razorback tools now and you'll save 20%. Your crew will have the best tools in the industry. And you'll have savings you can take to the bank. With bulk pricing on Razorback tools, buy 4 or more, save 20%. Now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing, while supplies last.